Welcome back. This is Chili Davis, and I'm back to do another video. I want to welcome back all my subscribers and welcome to my new viewers. This is a channel where we talk about stocks. We also talk about crypto. We also talk about credit. But today's video is going to be about landing a six-figure job and going through boot camp. If you don't know, boot camp is a term short for software development training. So this is the topic today, how to land a six-figure job, 5 coding boot camps, and I'm on doughroller.net careers/coding bootcamp. So I'm gonna leave that link below, but here's the topic. With the constant creation of new technologies in overdrive and almost all of them revolving around the computer industry, it makes sense computer-related jobs are on the rise. As the whole Bureau of Labor Statistics expects computer occupations to grow by 12% over the next 10 years. And that's true. So myself, I became a software developer over 15 years ago, and I benefited a lot from boot camps. After graduating from college with a computer science degree, I was not able to find a job. So I turned to a boot camp, just like you see this young lady here. It says traditionally, employers have sought software developers who hold bachelor's degree in computer science. While the degree programs provide students well-rounded education, they typically take at least 4 years, while a bachelor's program can be extremely expensive. So coding boot camps are a form of specialized education. Usually they're anywhere from 3 to 4 months. And after the 3 to 4 months, you're able to develop, either an app or develop a web page application and go on to build large enterprise systems like Facebook and Google and Apple. So this article talks about, is boot camp worth it? I know when I went several years ago, it was roughly about $18,000 a year. But after I got done, it was well worth it. So it talks about, is it worth it? Tuition at many of the popular boot camps start at around $10,000. Although the programs only last a few weeks, they are intense and can potentially lead to a six-figure salary. Now, here's the catch on these whole boot camps. The skills they're going to teach you in 8 or 12 weeks is the exact skills you need to work in corporate America. I promise you, they will be. The only question is whether you can digest the information in just 12 weeks. However, the coding boot camps tell a different story. Many of the most popular coding boot camps report employment rate at 85–90%. So if you can pay substantially less, complete your education faster than find the same type of job, why wouldn't you try a coding boot camp? So some of the things they do, web development immersive program. One of the programs called Hack Reactor out of San Francisco. Another one is called Dev Boot Camp. Another one is called Market Square. Another one is called Hackbright Academy. And another one is called The Verdict. So again, with college tuition costs skyrocket and student loan debt on a rise, vocational and professional programs like these are certainly to gain popularity, but is boot camp right for you? And I can tell you, only if you're really focused is it right for you. I graduated out of boot camp in 2008. I was not really qualified till 2009. About a year later, after still working through the problems and programs on my own, was I really ready for a job. So it's number one, you have to be focused, because only after 3 months are they going to try to put you into a job situation. So 3 to 4 months, you got to be ready for the interview. You got to be ready for different situations. And a lot of it is about communications. And when you first start developing software for a company, they're not going to put you on an application like Facebook. They're going to give you a support project. That means you're going to do some repetitive work type things that is, as long as you have the fundamentals of programming, web development, CSS, HTML, as long as you have the basics down, vanilla JavaScript, you can do the support roles. So that's where I started doing support roles, somewhere around making $50,000 a year. Another popular boot camp is Flatiron. It says Flatiron is an educational organization founded in 2012. The organization is based in New York and teaches software engineering and computer programming and data science and cybersecurity analytics. So Flatiron, I've heard, is one of the better boot camps. At the time in 2008, I did not go to a popular one in New York, but I did attend one remotely out of New Jersey. So that was my claim of fame, boot camp, over 12 years ago. All right, so just goes over and talks about, Flatiron was founded in 2012, and then it was acquired by someone else. And also, here's some of the legacy problems of boot camp. The state attorney was sued Flatiron for operating without a license and making false statements and earning potential for its graduates. Now, I'm going to tell you, after I spent that $18,000, I thought I was kind of screwed too. But the truth is, only you can make the difference of whether you get that job. The boot camps can give you skills for the schooling. They can give you the exact skills, exactly what you need to know how to do, but only you can pass the interview. So that was the difference. After about a year of gaining my own confidence and working through some of the problems with my own, rebuilding the same projects they gave me during the boot camp, and I gained my own confidence and control of the programming, I was able to confidently go into jobs and speak about the projects in my portfolio that I worked on. And then I landed my first job in Florida. So that's what they're not telling you. The difference in you being successful after coming out of boot camp is you. It's not how much you spent. It's not how much the recruiter or the job placement career officer mentioned. Is you. So the job placement officer, all his or her job is to do is put you in front of the job, whether it's a Google or Facebook or any of the other software companies. That's all their job is, to put you in position with a good resume, and then displaying your portfolio in top quality shape. So that's the story behind boot camp. Boot camp is just to prep you just enough to get you ready for the interview and for you to be able to talk about your portfolio. It is not for them to get you the job, because only you are the unique factor. So I'm going to talk about the 3 skills that you need to know. One is object-oriented programming. So in my case, I was a C# programmer. This is an object-oriented language. It says C# programming is a basic computer language developed by Microsoft, and that runs on the .NET framework and is used to develop web apps, desktop apps, mobile apps, and games and more. So most of the time when you're working for corporate America, you're just doing web apps or desktop apps. That's it. You're not doing all the fun stuff like mobile apps and games. Believe me, I've done enough desktop apps and web apps to know that in corporate America, after 12 years, the fun stuff you do on your free time. So C# there's basically 3 layers of programming. One is the front end, that's the HTML and the CSS. And then there's the middle tier. This is the C#, or some cases you may be doing Java as another object-oriented programming. So let me see if I can pull that up. See if they have Java. Okay, yeah, so they have Java. It looks very similar to C#, but you'll do either C# or Java. If you're going to do programming, you're going to have to learn how to do C# or Java. And then on the back end, you'll have to learn something called SQL. Now, what is SQL? Let me do the top SQL. SQL is a standard language for storing and manipulating and retrieving data out of databases. In most cases, SQL is stored either in MySQL, SQL Server, MS SQL, Oracle, or Sybase. Now, most of the time, there's variations of SQL, which is structured query language. You can get for free either MySQL or Microsoft SQL, but basically the basics are all the same. You're just querying a database. So just think of it as an address book. That's all SQL is. You're either querying for somebody's name, or you're querying for their name and their address or some other attribute. So they do have an example here. They have these records here, and let me just show you. Select customer ID. So now I'm going to run this SQL. Let's do select star. Let's do select star. Do the example. Okay, so you have two things with a query. First, you have to say what you're selecting. So this star means all the columns, and it's from the table called customer. So let's do that. All right, so I did a select star, and I did all the customers. There's 91 records, and I selected that from the customers table, right? So now I'm going to say select contact name. And that's just going to show this column. I'm going to run the SQL, and as you can see, I just have the contact name column. Now I can do, let's say I just want Maria. I can do this, select where contact name equals Maria. I'll do another one, but I'll just do this one first. That way you can understand what I'm doing. Select Maria Anders. So let's see. It doesn't like that. All right, so as you can see, I selected the one record that returns Maria Anders. Now, if I wanted to do something a little bit more special, and I didn't know the exact name, I could do something like this, Marie, and do an ampersand. Now, that will bring me back all the contact names with Marie being the first name and then some other after that. So that's how you do a select statement with a where clause. Now, otherwise, if I just do select without the where clause, I get back all the people in the database table, right? So there's one I would like to try. It's called top, but let's see. Okay, it doesn't like that particular command. But as you can see, structured query language is just a way to select the record and then select any of the columns. See, so I can just do, if I wanted to do, let's say I want to find all the records where the people lived in Berlin. So where city equals single quote Berlin, and then I hit run. Now it brings back that one record where city is equal to Berlin. So that is the where clause. And there's other ways. And then if, let's say you just wanted address and city. So you just mention the two columns that you want and you hit run SQL. And as you can see, you're just displaying the city and the address. You're not displaying the name or anything else. But if you do want all of them, you do star. Select star from the table. Select star means bring me back all the columns from this particular customer's table out of the database where equal Berlin. So let's just do. All right, so see that? Now let's look through this list. Let's see if there's any common ones. See, there looks like they're all different cities. But okay, so yes, you have some that are USA. So let's do where country is USA. We're going to run the SQL. And as you can see, now this is kind of case sensitive, but it's still a good example. So I did a where clause, bring me back all the customers where the country is USA. And as you can see, we brought back all the customers, customer ID, their contact name, and USA. Now I can filter it down to just bring me back the contact name and the country. And as you can see, we just filtered by the contact name and the country. So this is how you get your data out of the database. And that is the second most skill you need as a programmer going through BootCamp. The last skill you need is what we call JavaScript. Now, JavaScript, you may be familiar with it because you see it all the time whenever you're doing a web page. So like this program here, when I click this test button, or excuse me, I click this click chili button, it's going to bring me back the current date time. So as I click this button, this JavaScript was, the date was injected into the HTML. So this is what JavaScript is. It's very oftentimes that you'll see different things on the web page, and that's what this is that causes JavaScript. Now you'll also see stuff like input type, and let's just say text. And now you have an input box. So these are the various things of input. This is a little bit of HTML, but also a JavaScript. So there's several derivatives of JavaScript. After you get through the basic forms of vanilla JavaScript, then you can learn Angular, React, and some of the more advanced forms. But in the beginning, you're just wanting to learn the basics of programming. Your first role coming out of BootCamp is just going to be basic. It's not going to be as advanced as, you know, some people think that they're going to be working on Facebook. But a lot of times when you first come out of BootCamp, you're just going to be learning how to maintain the current system. So you won't be necessarily building a system, but you'll be supporting a system. Now, if you do decide on your own on the side as a side project, you can develop your own application, your own mobile phone app, or your own game. I have seen developers do that. But in the beginning, you'll just be developing and maintaining the current system for whatever project you're working on. So this was just my quick video about boot camps. Are they worth it? And I believe they are. It is a great job that I've literally made on average anywhere from $90,000 up to $120,000 over the last 10 years. So I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Please like, share, and leave your comments below.